Hi everybody, AEW Grand Slam. I really enjoyed the show. The Ring of Honor World title match, Claudio versus Jericho. I enjoyed the match and I understand why they decided to give Jericho the belt, because if you're looking for a TV deal for Ring of Honor, having Chris Jericho as your world champion's gonna be a major pulling point even in 2022. So I understand why they gave him the belt, but do I like the fact they gave him the belt? No, not really. I would have kept it on Claudio, but as I said, I understand why they did it. And if Garcia, if they give the belt to Garcia by having him beat Jericho, then obviously it'll be all worth it, and obviously that will cap off the whole storyline of Garcia and Jericho. So yeah, as I said, good opening match, and I really enjoyed it for what it was. So then we had the Acclaimed versus Swerving Their Glory for the AEW Tag Team Championships. I really enjoyed this match. The crowd was awesome. The crowd was not as electric as they were at All Out, but they were still pretty good here. And as I say, it was a good work match. I don't think it was as good as the All Out match that I had, but it was still very good. And I like that. I like the fact the Acclaimed got the belts, but I really do believe they should have won the belts at All Out. But I understood why they wanted to do it here. But I just think if they did it at All Out, it could have been one of the biggest moments in AEW's history, with how electric that crowd were for the Acclaimed. And as I said, the crowd was still pretty good here, but the All Out crowd was just a different level of invested. But the one problem I did have, why did Billy Gunn need to help them to win? Why couldn't they just win clean? Why did Billy Gunn have to get involved? If you're trying to present Swerve as a heel, as a villain, then why are you gonna have the good guys or the baby faces, whatever word you want to use, win the belts by technically cheating? Did they really need to do the whole Billy Gunn thing? I don't think they did. But anyway, good moment for the Acclaimed. But I do wonder what's going to be the future for FTR. Because FTR aren't going to be beating the Acclaimed for the belts unless you turn them heel. And I don't think they'll do that because the people love FTR. Obviously, based off of what we saw on this show, we're going to be getting FTR versus the Gun Club. That'll be great. That was sarcasm, by the way. Why are we still doing FTR versus the Gun Club when they first became crowd favourites? That was their first match. FTR versus the Gun Club, and now we're doing it again. Why? So moving on, Orange Cassidy versus Pac for the All Atlantic Championship. it was fine. It was okay. To be honest, I don't really care about the All Atlantic Championship. It was about that we did not need, in my opinion. I understand you have a big roster, but I just think it's a pointless championship, if I'm being 100% honest. But this match, it was okay. It wasn't bad, but I just felt it was, it was, it was just not what I wanted. Let's just say that. It was just not what I wanted to see. And I like both guys, but I just did not like this match. I preferred their first match, to be honest. But there we go. Pac retained. And also, why did they have Pac to that thing with the what was it, I don't even know what it was, but basically he got a weapon from the timekeeper's table, and he hit Orange Cassidy with it 3 times. I can't remember what it was, but I just felt they made the referees seem stupid on this show, because obviously in the opener we had Jericho getting the win by the kick to the bollocks, and then I think it was the Judas effect, and then we had the referee being distracted in the tag team title match, and then we had one here. So you made your referees seem stupid on this show. I just think the referees should never look stupid most of the time. Obviously you can do it every now and again if it develops the story, of course. But to do it as many times as they did it on this show, I just thought it was really unnecessary. And then we had the AEW Women's title match. I really enjoyed this match. I thought everybody played there well. Athena's awesome. Serena Deeb's good. Toni Storm is good, and Britt Baker's good at what she does. And it was just a really good match, and it kept my interest the whole time. And if I'm being honest, I enjoyed this match more than I enjoyed the All Atlantic match. And as we suspected, Toni Storm retained, and it was a good match, and I really enjoyed it. My only question is, why was Athena put into this match, and why was Serena Deeb put into this match? We haven't seen them on TV in a long time. I know they got AEW Dark and Dark Elevation, but I would have liked to have seen them get a couple more wins on TV before you put them in a 4-way. And not only that, but didn't you just do a 4-way at All Out? But anyway, moving on. And then post match, Jamie Hayter came out and they were teasing that her and Britt were going to break up like they did on Dynamite, and then they attacked Toni Storm like they did on Dynamite. So I don't know what they're doing with Jamie Hayter. They're probably not going to do the whole her and Britt break up. Then they attacked Toni Storm, and then Saraya, the former Paige, made her AEW debut, and that was the loudest reaction I've ever heard for like AEW's women's division. Because let's be honest, the AEW crowd don't really get interested in the women's stuff rightly or wrongly. But the way they reacted to Saraya, you would think the you would think that the crowd. What I'm trying to say is that I like the way the crowd reacted for Saraya, and I can't wait to see what she does. My only reservation is when Athena came in, the crowd loved her, and then after a couple of months, because of the way she was presented on TV, the crowd lost interest. And same thing with Tony Storm, the crowd lost interest in her after her debut. So I hope that does not happen with Saraya. Or is it Saraya? Let me know. But I do worry about the AEW women's division, because in the ring they've got some really talented individuals, and in terms of personalities, I think if they give them time on TV and give them that actual story to tell, I believe it can be really entertaining. But Tony Khan just doesn't do it, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because he doesn't like it. I think yes, he has women on his roster, but you can tell what he does with them on TV. It feels like a complete afterthought, and that's a fact. I mean, obviously, if you don't like it, then that's fine. But you can't tell me that they're not underdeveloped as TV personalities. Like if you look at the men's world title, for example, that's always got something going on. Like either a match or an in-ring segment. But with the women, they don't really get that. And I understand if you didn't have any talented women that could do that sort of thing. But I definitely think, especially now, you've got some women that can do them moments. I know people are going to tell me that I'm wrong, but that's how I feel. And I know I'm probably going to get called a pervert, but you can call me whatever you want. I genuinely do believe that the women's division could be one of the best things about AEW if they gave it time and they allowed the stories to develop. I can't wait to read the comments on this one. But anyway, moving on. And I forgot to say, obviously I hope Saraya's able to perform in the ring if she's able to, and it's safe for her to do so, because obviously she's had a neck issue, so I hope she's able to perform. So there we go. So moving on to the main event. Bryan Danielson versus John Moxley to crown a new AEW World Champion. I really enjoyed this match. I don't think it was as good as it could have been, because obviously when you're in the TV main event, you can't really go as long as you would on the pay-per-view, but it was still very, very good. And honestly, I don't know what else to say. Obviously, Moxley's amazing, but Bryan Danielson has not had one bad match in the AEW. Even even the lesser ones are still really good. And as I've said to people before, Bryan Danielson's the GOAT in my opinion. He'd had 20 years of pretty much non-stop bangers, and there was nothing different. He had an absolute banger, and Moxley's amazing, obviously. And my only criticism is, I know MJF has the poker chip, and he can cash it in whenever he wants to. I get that. So why do we have to have him showing in the crowd every 2 seconds? I mean, where the hard cam was, like where the main camera was, you could see MJF in the background anyway. So why did we need to keep cutting away from the match to go to MJF? But that's just a slight little nitpick. But as I said, the match was awesome. Bryan Danielson's the best wrestler that ever lived, in my opinion. And yeah, they just had a really good match. I wish Bryan would have won the bout, to be honest, but I understand why he gave it back to Moxley. And if I'm being honest, because I think this title reign's only going to be a short one, because at the end of the day, the belt's going to MJF, and he can hold it for a long time, in my opinion. I want Bryan's first AEW World title reign to be a long one, so I would rather Moxley have the belt now, and then he can lose it to MJF, and then he can do Bryan Danielson as the world champion further down the line. Let's be honest, Bryan Danielson at this rate, he's probably going to go for another 5 years, in my opinion. So you've got enough time to do the whole Bryan Danielson as world champion. And I just want to spend a couple of minutes just talking about AEW as a whole. I think AEW, when you think about what happened over the last month or two, obviously with Punk and the Elite having that backstage fight, and with all of them being suspended and all that drama, I think AEW needs to come back strong. And by the way, just to say, I don't want to see Punk in AEW again, to be honest. Like, if he does come back, great. But if he doesn't, then oh well. I'm not gonna be crying for him, to be honest. Fucking me the Punk. That's very ironic that he calls himself CM Punk, because I think he's a punk. So there we go. So thank you for watching, and I will speak to you soon. Have a good day, and let me know what you thought about AEW Grand Slam down below, and thank you for watching.